A deadly shooting in Madison County, an arrest miles away in Louisville. Big story team coverage at 6 begins now. Good evening, I'm Nancy Cox.
And I'm Kevin Christopher. Thanks for joining us at 6. He's accused of killing one man and critically injuring another in a shooting in Berea this morning, but police have made an arrest.
It took a day-long manhunt before suspect Matthew Denholm was captured, and the details are still unfolding. LEX 18's Adam Weiner begins tonight's big story team coverage.
Yeah, it started in Berea near the college there, but it ended in Louisville. The 27-year-old Matthew Denholm, suspected of killing a friend of his after a fight in Berea and injuring another man. He was tracked, though, using his cell phone all the way to Jefferson County, where he was finally captured. Denholm resisted arrest at first, refusing to get out of his car. However, that standoff was brief and Denholm peacefully surrendered. I spoke with Denholm's uncle, Frank Denholm, a former U.S. congressman from South Dakota, earlier today about Denholm's military background. He said Denholm served in both the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, and his specialty was the disarming of dangerous roadside explosives. But the former congressman adds he saw no signs of mental instability when Matthew Denholm returned home to South Dakota.
He left the Legion. Our local Legion had a little luncheon on his going away party when he went into service, and they had a reception for him when he came back. He seemed to be well adjusted and met the people all right.
Well, we're told Berea police are taking Denholm back to Berea tonight to charge him with first-degree murder and assault. Kevin, back to you.
Well, police say Denholm opened fire in an apartment above a law firm. It happened just after 7 this morning on Chestnut Street. Nikki Burdine joins us live from near the scene as we continue our big story team coverage.
Well, an argument between friends ended this morning here at this Berea apartment with murder. And although the suspect is in custody, questions still remain about what happened here.
He's really nice, nice guy, really wonderful person.
The small town of Berea left with questions after a violent morning.
Finding out about this was definitely a shock. At first, I was just really glad that class was canceled, and I thought somebody had just been shooting signs up and down the street. I didn't have any idea something like this had happened, and finding out that Flower was dead and Price was in the hospital was just ridiculous. I still can't wrap my head around it.
25-year-old Zachary Flower was found shot to death in his Berea apartment. Flower was from Lynchburg, Virginia, and lived here with 2 roommates, one of which was shot early this morning as well. He lived and is at UK hospital recovering.
Because we wanted to put some flowers on there for anyone who lives in the building.
Flower, the other victim, and the alleged shooter, Matt Denholm, were all friends and apparently got into an argument last night at a Mexican restaurant next door. Police say that argument could be the reason behind today's shooting. The 2 victims were also in a rap group together called Strange Tang.
Well, Berea is a safe place. This isn't typical at all, and it's really shook up the community. And I really feel for my former roommates. I feel for Bleak. I feel for Price. I can't believe something like this happened right across the hall from where I used to live.
The coroner tells us he'll have a much more detailed report tomorrow after the autopsy is completed. For now, LEX 18's Adam Baker continues our team coverage.
Well, Nikki, as you can imagine, until that suspect was caught in Louisville, there was a lot of concern about where he was or where he could be headed. So that prompted all of the schools in the area, that crime scene, including Madison Southern High School here behind me in Berea, to go on lockdown. And they stayed that way for much of the day. Now, during that lockdown mode, police and also school employees stayed in the parking lot and stayed in the entrances to those schools, checking vehicles, checking visitors, making sure everyone who was coming and going were people who should be on campus, making sure everything was safe. That lockdown, though, was eventually lifted when police made that arrest in Louisville. That meant that students could go home. They could go home as normal, and dismissals went fine. That was a relief to a lot of parents in the area.
I've been here a year, so it's the first thing I've ever heard of around here close, and it's scary being in a small town. You never know what could happen.
That man has a student in 5th and 6th grade here in Madison County, so he was very relieved to have both of them come home safely today. We should also tell you that there's a small college in downtown Berea called Berea College, and those students were also put on lockdown today. They were told to stay indoors and stay as safe as possible during that investigation. We're covering the news live in Madison County from the LEX 18 mobile newsroom. Now back to you.